Well, welcome everybody to another walkie talkie, and today I've titled this Eating Healthy, Exercising a Little and Growing Spiritually. Now, I made the mistake of buying some scales, but I also made a worse mistake by standing on those scales a couple of weeks after lockdown, and then realising I must have put on about, I must be about 3 or 4 stone overweight. And the reason why I've put on so much weight is what's known as comfort eating. Where you fill your basket up with crisps and chocolate, as well as processed, unhealthy, fatty foods that taste so nice. And when we're at home, we have our meals, don't we? But in between, because we've got less to do now, because maybe we're worried, because we maybe have fear in our lives, we reach for the food and we eat it because it releases those endorphins, doesn't it? It makes us feel good. And no one wants to feel bad, do they, when they're sat at home? So because of my comfort eating last week, I got to the point where I felt so rough, to the extent where I realised I have to do something. My philosophy has always been eat less and exercise more, but I'm refining that now to eat healthy, exercise a little, but also grow spiritually, and we'll talk about that in a moment. So I'm determined to eat more healthy now. We know the benefits of eating healthy, don't we? And the diet I have been on for the last 2 or 3 days now has been more of a kind of paleo diet where, if it's a vegetable, if it's a fruit, if it's a nut, if it's meat or fish, then I will eat it. But if it has to be processed, or if it's kind of man-made in any way, I'm not going to eat it. And the idea is, if I eat healthy, then I will lose weight and I'll be healthier. And I must say I've reaped the benefits of it. Today I feel a lot better. Yesterday I was having withdrawals from all the chocolate and crisps. I'm just being honest today. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to eat healthier because of the benefits it has to my body. And it makes me feel better, makes me feel healthier, makes me feel less lethargic, keeps me awake, keeps me alert. And that's a good thing to do, isn't it? Good thing to do. Another thing is that obviously exercising a little is beneficial to you, isn't it? And that's what I'm doing every day. So I'm getting that right. Coming out here and walking half an hour to an hour a day. And that's why the government have said that it's so beneficial to you. That's why they're allowing everyone out once a day. And that's what we should do. And now we know the benefits of exercise because we get stiff, don't we? Struggle to bend over. We do feel lethargic. But we know when we get out, you can hear my breath panting, that when the blood pumps around our body, it releases endorphins and it makes us feel better, makes us less depressed. And keeping your body healthy by eating good foods and exercising will actually benefit us spiritually, because I always say, where we go on Christian retreats and we eat fried foods throughout the whole time there, and then we blame it on the devil, don't we, because we feel that we're under attack. Well, it's not. It's probably just the garbage that we're eating making us feel rubbish. So eating healthy is important. Exercise a little is also really important. Paul said that, didn't he? He says, look, exercise profits a little, but he goes on to say this, but godliness pertains to all things, or godliness is profitable for all things, not only in this life, but also in the next. And that leads me on to my third point. And this is where I think that we have, I've failed in this time. We can't do the others without this one, because this one will reap the benefits in this life, but it also reap eternal rewards. Our body is, obviously, we're made up of body, spirit and soul. And we're very good as a people, aren't we, in this world, at trying to tend to, well, some of us are not, I haven't been. But you see people running about, don't you, exercising, very good at tending to our, physical, natural bodies. But we're not necessarily good at tending to our spiritual needs. And that's why Paul says, you need to exercise godliness because it's profitable for this life but also the next. So we need to exercise those spiritual muscles. How can we do that? Well, we know, you may not know, but we know ways that we can do that. Firstly, that God has given us his Holy Spirit, and we need to be attentive to what he's saying. So many times I run ahead of myself and do things without asking the Spirit. And that's not wise. We need to be attentive. And how do we do that? We can come to God in prayer, spend time in his presence and listen to him so that he can guide us. Remember, he said, my sheep hear my voice and they follow me. Now, it's good to be in God's will because that's what that song sings about, isn't it? It's only in his will that we are free. So he's given us his Spirit, he's given us his voice, but also he's given us his word. And that's where God mainly speaks, through his word. Now, we can learn godliness through the mistakes of others written in the Bible, but we can also read those wonderful exhortations and lessons that the New Testament writes as well. Remember, Paul, under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, had that amazing mystery, that revelation revealed to him, and writes down those wonderful teachings that we should apply to our life, because we need to attend to our spiritual needs. So we don't want to just, we don't actually at all want to grow this way through our bellies, do we? We need to eat healthy, of course. We need to exercise a little, of course. But we want to grow, don't we, spiritually? Because Paul is saying, look, that's profitable for this life, but it's also profitable for the next. Because actually, when we enter into glory, remember, that's where the rewards come. He's not going to be worrying about what you've eaten or how much exercise you've done, but he's going to worry about how you lived your life for him. And that's a challenge, isn't it? Now, I put a